Hello YouTubers, welcome to my world. At least it's sunny out here today. Not too bad. In the 40s, and it looks like we're going to get a lot done to this today. We're going to be installing some transmission cooler lines. You know, they all have problems, and this one had a huge problem. It blew a place right here in the line, and I had to splice it. It got me home, and I've been driving it probably 6 or 7 months, but this always bothered me because there's this line that goes down to the bottom of the engine and back to the transmission. It's got a lot of rust holes in it, so I figured, well, might as well just bite the bullet and buy a new set. And well, we got the new set over here. I think I paid $100 online on eBay, free shipping, and there it is. This is a 2-piece set. You got a section here that comes out of the radiator and goes about halfway. Then from there on back, it goes into the side of the transmission right there. Just kind of clips in. And you got these little connectors here where you screw these ends together right here and right there. So actually it's a lot easier to do it this way. It's 2-piece. If you had to do it one big piece, you got to snake that thing all the way up around the engine, up around the frame, and up back the round radiator. So I think this will be a lot easier to do. Now, the only kicker is that, yeah, my transmission's already out. I completely rebuilt it. Got a new torque converter. Got about $450 into the rebuild. The shops wanted $2,500. I said, see ya. So I just bit the bullet, spent a couple days, and did it. And it's all done, rebuilt, and it's got new clutches. I mean, seals, everything in it. So I didn't fool the valve body because there's nothing wrong with the valve body. It shifted fine. It just was tired and started slipping a little bit, and I tore it apart, and I found some of the pistons that were bad in it and all that. I didn't do a video on it because there's plenty of content online on how to do it, but there's a look at it. She's going to go back in, so I figured it would be easier to go ahead and put these transmission lines on first, kind of get them in there, because when the transmission goes in there, this in here basically just pushes in and clips. It goes click or whatever. So tell you what, let's go underneath real quick. All right, so there's the bottom of the transmission where it used to be, like right here. Just pretend there's a transmission here, but this is the back of the engine. We're good there, and that light there, I don't know if it's going to help me or not here. Let me put my hand up here. But here is the back of the two hoses, the lines, I should say, that just kind of pushes into the transmission, and they're held in by these little clips, which I'll show you here in a second. So if we unhook that up front and just clip these lines here, just pull this out, we should be good. The front's no problem. Getting them into the radiator, putting the connectors on it there, and get them back in here, it's not a problem. The problem that everybody has is getting your hands up in here and trying to get these in the transmission pushed in. But what I'm going to do is put the transmission back in. It's going to be hanging down anyway, and I can actually get my hand up in here, and we're going to slide these in the side of the transmission there, kind of like this. Push them in and take care of that. So let me show you the clips real quick. And there is one of those clips, kind of goes in there like that on that side or on the top, and then you just push the transmission line in and this kind of grabs it. That's all it is. And there's a seal in there. I didn't change these out because these were not leaking, and with the rebuild kit that I spent, I don't know, $250 for, I've got a bunch of these in the other kit. I just didn't even need them. So let's go ahead and see if we can get these lines out. Maybe this video will help you out a little bit. Hey, let me know where you're watching from right now. All right, so we're back on top of the engine here, and I did take out the windshield washer, tank, a few things here, the air cleaner, and the inlet here, just to have a little more room. Now, here are the lines, and if your clips aren't really rusted right here really bad, I can probably just take this off here and separate this and just pull this line out from the bottom and drop it from the bottom of the radiator there and get that off. This one here, obviously I just take this hose off and it's already been cut. We should be able to just pull it out. Now, it is connected to the side of the bottom of the let me try that again. It is connected to the bottom of the motor down here, and there's a little bracket down here. Let me show you real quick. All right, so we're back under here, and there is the bottom of the radiator and clips and all that. And the line goes up, and right there, you just pop that off the shroud, And right over here, when the lines go up and kind of snake up around the frame and drop back down, if I hold the camera right there, you see the little bolt? And right here, there's a clip. Just grab these little two, let's see if I can hold this camera. Right there, just bend these two little pieces down right there, and that'll let you slide those lines out of the clip there. If I can move that line there, let's see if I can move it a little bit for you. See how it moves around? Maybe not. There we go. And just push up on it there like that. There you go. And that'll get it out of the clip. You don't have to mess with that bolt. And that will release all that. And now we can just kind of go under here in the back and pull the rest of it out. So that's probably one way you can do it. And there's a little bit better look at it. And you can see when this thing blew, and a lot of them blow right about there because it's rusty. The heat from the manifold, water splashing up on there creates a lot of rust. And that thing was a bear to get to. I likely never got my hands down there to get a clamp on there to tighten that up. So if you have a garage and you got some time, you might want to check out your transmission lines, because if you're on a trip and this blows, you're not going to have a fun time talking about your trip. All right, so let's go ahead and see if we can get these out. First thing I'm going to do is pull these clips out of this one here and this one out, this one out. Sometimes these are no fun to get. You pull these little pieces here back, these little round things, and this actually keeps these clips from getting dirty and pulling them off. And there's that one. So I'm going to get my little pick and just kind of pop that out of there for now. All right. Oh, I hate these things, but I understand why they're there. So there is that one. And when you pull this line back, you're probably going to see a little bit of fluid leak out. Yeah, so we'll wiggle that in a second. And let's go ahead and get this other one off. And I typically just take my screwdriver, or a pick, and either push up or push down. Looks like I have to push up on this one to get this out of here. Sometimes I put the camera down because it's kind of hard to do this with one hand, but you can see it moving there. So just pop out like that. There it goes. See it up on the top there? There we go. I'm going to grab it with my pick. Try not to lose it. Well, I just heard it fly somewhere. Well, I lost that one, but I got a bunch more. So this is what you got to be careful about. And I heard it fly over here, and I'll never find it again. So these are the things you got to watch out for. If I'd used both hands, I wouldn't have lost it. But I wanted to record that. All right. Anyway, we got one. Well, guess what? I found it. Folks, don't do what I do. Take your time at doing things. All right, so I'm just excited about getting this transmission, and that's all. It's been 2 years, so there's those two. So let's go ahead and see if we can get these lines out of the radiator. Actually, fooling with the pick, I even got that one out. Now, we'll go ahead and take this hose off of that, and then we'll pull those out of the bottom of that radiator. I think it'll be easier that way. All right, so we got these lines pretty much out of the back of that shroud there. We got this here. Oh, all right, there's that line, and this should come right off. And there's that, and this is where I had to splice it today. It almost got me stranded. Luckily, I was pretty close to home. A friend saw me, gave me a ride, and there's where I had to cut it. Now we should be able to just pull these out of the bottom of the radiator. Get that out of the way, so let's go down there and do that. Alright, so here's the part where transmission fluid's probably going to come out. Oh, yep, there it goes. Oh. Luckily I got a rag trying to catch it. But, hey, one line out. And here's the other one. Hopefully I can get my hand in here without this stuff getting in my face. Hold the camera, Nathan. Gee. All right, there we go. All right, there's that one. And of course, we're going to get this rag over here a little bit better. So there they are. They're both out. So ta-da. So this line here is actually good, so I may just keep it. You never know, somebody might need it. And you could have probably spliced this, but I just didn't. You can see how the rust is forming there. So, all right, so we'll put these off the side. We can keep these guys here. I think we can no, we can't reuse them. They're useless at this point. All right, but we'll keep this one line. All right, let's see if we can get this one out. I think this is the one. It's pretty long. There we go. This is the one that was broken. All right, so there's that one. And see, getting them out of that clip on the side of the engine block makes them come out a lot easier. And there's this one. And putting these newer ones in shouldn't be hard at all because they're on two-piece. And there's that. So there's a look at those. And we got them out. And got a little bit of fluid there, but we'll clean that up. All right, so there's the old lines. One other thing I wanted to tell you guys about. If you ever have a problem with your transmission line, you want to just patch it up. Make sure you get something that's high pressure, because the guy at the auto parts store sold me something that wasn't high pressured, and he thought it was, and I didn't see a marking on it, and I stuck it on there. And 2 days later, would you believe it, blew a big hole in the side up. So make sure something on, if you get something, make sure it's transmission line. Don't just use any old line, because there's a little bit of pressure on these lines, just so you know. Don't make the mistake that I made. Verify and then trust and fix. All right, so there are the two just kind of sitting in there. The one on the bottom right here goes on the bottom on this side. This top one here goes all the way to the driver's side. So if you flip these around, you get them messed up. It's not going to be perfect. And you can see I got clearance here to put the new fittings in. So cool. So let's go under here real quick and see what we got. Looks pretty good from where I'm at. And all we got to do is push this in right here like that. Well, I may have to use both hands here and see what's going on. All right, there we go. I had to use both hands and push that in. And see if I can do this with one hand over here. All right, went right in. So cool. So all I gotta do is get my clips, put them on, and I'll go up on top real quick. And we'll seat this back in here, just like that. Sweet. All right. I like it when a plan comes together. So cool. So we'll go into there and we'll snake the other two in. I think we'll go underneath and push them up and come up this way, because if you try to do it here, this is going to be in the way. I think the best thing is just go underneath and push them up one at a time. So let me go do that real quick. All right, guys. So this is pretty important when you're putting these clips on. Make sure you get them on right. And you can see the top of that. I thought it was on. Look at that. It's not in there right. Top of that. Look at that. See that? So I have to take my pick and kind of slide it back in that groove there. So you got to play around with them. But once you get them in, you get the idea. So let me fix that a little bit better there on the back side. All right, there we go. Boy, it took a couple of minutes. And I had to take my little pick here. And you can see part over that clip where it's bent goes in that groove. One on the other side and one over here. So you just got to take your time at it, and that's not going to go anywhere. So we're good there. Do the other side here real quick. Get that one in. All right, boy, for little clips, these things are PIT. You're gonna bend them just right and get them in there. So you can see it's not going nowhere now. It's in. So all right, so let's go ahead and see if we get these lines pushed up to the front from the back. All right, now before I put this transmission in, I know I'm kind of cheating here, and you're like, oh, this is not fair. Well, a lot of guys will go into the floorboard and cut a hole right about here and bend it down where you can actually get into here. Nothing wrong with it as long as you seal it back up. Or you can just drop the transmission all the way down and get your hands up in here and do that. But what we're going to do here real quick, I'm going to show you that the top line has this bend right here. Seems to go on top. The bottom one here just has one kink going down, and you can see how it's kind of set up there. And this is basically how it's going to kind of go back in. That should bolt up like that. But what I'm going to do is go ahead and put my clips on first, and that way when this transmission's under there, all I got to do is just push this in and clip it in. Kind of like this. I can get this with one hand, probably not. There we go. And just kind of push it in. Makes it a lot easier because you don't want to be fooling with these clips under there. If you can't get them in, you're going to have to unscrew this here, put the clip on, screw it back in, then push this line in. So just so you know, this is how I'm kind of setting this up. And right about here is where it slides into those brackets on the side of the block, those two tangs I bent down I showed you. And that's basically how it should go. And it does clear the transmission just like the other one did on the bottom here. So yeah, I know I'm cheating, but this will give you some idea how these cooler lines work. Alright, so I went underneath and just slid it right up in there, no problem. It came right up to here where it should be. And down here on the bottom, bear with me a second, and I just basically shoved it in the bracket, let it slide in. Now the top one should go on top of there, and it should be alright. And let's go back here in the back. And there's the transmission line just kind of hanging there, so it goes just like that on the side of the transmission. So not too bad. So I don't know. The good news is, if you're going to do this job and your transmission's still in it, this two-piece does make it a little bit easier. You can probably still get that two-piece, the back piece, up under here somehow, and just slide it up under there. But then again, just for a little more work, you can take out your cross member and lower the transmission down, and that'll give you a little more room to get in there. But it, you know, it's any way you want to do. But I'm just showing you how I'm kind of setting this up here as I put the transmission in. So maybe something will help you out here. Alright guys, so after going through all that, there we go. There's our new cooler line. Push it back in there a little bit better. This is just finger tight for now. I can see they got the bends right. That looks good there. And let's go underneath. And I'll show you that it's in the clip under here. Get my head just right. Oh, where are you? Gee whiz. There we go. You can see they fit right in the clips. I'm surprised. I'll bend that up a little bit with my fingers. And in the back here, let's go in the back. And of course here, this is where they go into the side of the transmission. Now with those clips already on that transmission, these will just slide right in because it has a place made right here where this will slide in over those clips. If you try to pull it out, it won't, because the back side of it's like 90 degrees. There's like a little 45 there, so it slides in pretty good. Makes it a little bit easier to work with. And once I get it in the transmission, this should be far enough away from the catalytic converters, or catalytic converters. May have to bend it just a little bit, but it's in. So we're good there. So the next thing you'll see me do is I'll have this transmission up in here. I've got a really nice transmission jack. I'll set it up in here and start a couple of bolts. We'll leave the back of the transmission kind of hanging down, and I'll show you how I'll get my hand up in here and just kind of push it in the side transmission. So, you know, this is just how I'm doing it, and maybe this video will help you out a little bit with these lines. But, you know, if you're taking your transmission out and they look rusty, boy, replace these. You know, it's well worth the money. So, there we go. So, let's go ahead and I'll get this transmission in, and we'll wrap this video up. Alright guys, so it's the next day. We've got all the lines hooked up. And let me go under here and show you. I even got the little round clips to put back on there. They kind of cover up the little plastic things there. See the little round thing? It's like a piece of plastic. You just slide up over the clips, and it actually kind of keeps that clip from getting all dirty and stuff, so you can take it off later. So it doesn't get impacted with grease and dirt, and also I think it kind of holds that clip in place so it doesn't, you know, come off. So both of those are on. There's the other one on the bottom down there. The back of the transmission right here is kind of hanging down, and I don't have the transfer case on, so there's probably a couple different ways you can do yours. You know, you can cut a hole in the floorboard up there and get in there, or you can just try to lower the back of the transmission down, take out the cross member. It's pretty easy to do. And maybe have enough room to snake your hands up in through here somehow. I don't know. But like I said, this is just how I'm putting my two-piece in, so I don't know. Maybe this video will help you out, maybe it won't. But anyway, it's out with the old and in with the better, as I like to say. So I think we're going to be okay. And everything, this line, actually, I'm pretty impressed. Everything fit just like it should. The only thing I gotta do is tighten these up here, up and down, all that. So next thing we'll do is when we come back here in a little bit, we'll have the car running, we'll have fluid in it, and we'll make sure there's no leaks and all that. All right, everyone, good news. No leaks. Check it out, bone dry. Been driving it for a few hours, and everything worked out pretty good. And you can see the lines there. Now they say don't use any thread tape on those, so I did not. And everything's fine. The only problem is it's still in limp mode, and I've traced it down to this guy right here. This ECMU, it's got a problem because before I bought this vehicle, someone worked on it, and they shorted out some wires, and they did something here. So I've still got the P2764 code, and it still only has second, third gear. So I know the transmission is fine. It's been overhauled. So now I've got to trace this wire up here, bundle, and get in here and maybe just send this off and buy a new one and all that. That's going to cost me probably 150 bucks, but that's what happens when you buy used cars. You don't know who's done what to them. So other than that, I just want to show you how I put that on there. Now, if you're going to do this, you know, be able to take some time and relax and rest a little bit, because you're going to have to kind of figure out how you want to do the transmission part where those lines go in the side. But everything else is not really all that bad. So that's how I did the two-piece transmission line. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If not, give it a big old thumbs down. And until my next video, guys, I will see you later.